Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head to Malmö here in Sweden, just a little bit to the south of me in Lund actually, and we're going to have a look at another brewery who have just popped up on the radar as of the early part of 2016. So for this one we are going to go to Chad Beer, who are from Svedala, which is just outside of Malmö actually, and we're having a taste of their brown ale tonight at 4.6%. This one is the Bunyip, which has English Kent Gold hops in it, and it also has some Belgian chocolate malt, which I think is my first encounter with something like that. So this beer should be really quite interesting, and it's very new in the Systembolaget system, so always cool to see new breweries popping up here in Skåne, so looking forward to this one. But anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you do want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my future reviews that I'll do from Chad Beer. Very first time I'm trying one of their beers, like I said. There's all the usual social media in the description below. Make sure you check that out. If you want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel, and as always, to those of you watching in Sweden, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries you guys would like to see me review. The standard of Swedish beer I've found so far is very high, so do get in touch and let me know some of the beers you want me to review. So anyway, to tell you about Chad Beer. So Chad Beer was founded by Australian Chad Payton back in 2013, and he'd previously been a geochemist and was a long-time homebrewer who obviously has now turned professional. He actually says on the website that the Chad Beer is actually his hobby kind of spiralling out of control a little bit. But originally Chad Beer were gypsy brewers, but in 2015 they set up a 400 litre brew house in Svedala, which is just outside of Malmö here in Skåne in southern Sweden. And the first beers were produced at this little brewery in December of 2015. I'm reviewing this beer for you in May 2016. You'll probably see the review sometime in June. But these guys, as I say, very, very new brewery. But apparently Chad Beer was originally, the name Chad Beer was first used just as a kind of working title, but they intended to change it, but it's just apparently stuck with them. They've not been able to shake it off, so that's why they continue to use it, and that seems to be what they're becoming known for. So yeah, it should be quite an interesting one for us to try. But just to list the other beers you can get from these guys, they've got 4 different beers in the works at the moment. There's the Sun Giant, the 15 Minutes of Flame, this one here, the Bunyip, and there's also the Dark Days as well, which on the website at the moment it says it's a work in progress, but probably by the time this review comes out it will be available. But yeah, that's your little bit about the beer. It said on the website that this one was supposed to be a kind of English style brown ale and that it uses Belgian chocolate malt. As I said, that's my very first encounter with Belgian chocolate malts actually, and the hops in this one are East Kent Golding, so it should be quite nice, and it comes in at 4.6%. I think it's saying on here that the label is done by Håkan Karlsson, so you can just see the label on this one. I'll bring up the camera and make sure you're seeing that. But yeah, you can see quite nicely done, actually quite a nice kind of modern label. Plain green bottle cap on this one actually, and yeah, it says best before the 2nd of February 2017, so I'm guessing this beer was maybe bottled back in February of this year. So yeah, let's get this guy out and we'll get on with the tasting then. It should be quite nice. There's quite a few different breweries opening up around Malmö actually. You can see a nice smoky opening on this one, and when I open this beer up it actually has a good bit of it has a bit of a red candied fruit aroma coming off it actually. You can see there's quite a bit of carbonation as we pour it out. We'll just get the last of it into the glass and we'll let it settle, but to me on the pour that smells quite chocolatey and quite fruity actually. It's a kind of red candied fruit aroma that's coming off this. It's quite unusual. I was expecting it to be more sort of chocolatey and caramelly, but you can really smell some of the red fruits there, but the other elements that you would expect of this beer are in there. So as you can see, it's poured a really nice dark sort of chestnutty colour. If I hold it up to the light here, you can just see on the edge it is quite chestnutty in colour. It's got that nice kind of almost Coca-Cola colour actually to it. If you take a half-litre bottle of Coca-Cola and it has that, this beer has that similar colour to it. There's a solid 2 fingers of a frothy, I'd say kind of beigey head on this one. There's a little bit of a kind of beigey tan thing going on there, maybe fawn, I don't know, but it looks really nice. It's actually got quite a Belgian head on it there, so maybe that's the malt. This one uses an English yeast strain as well, an English ale yeast strain, but it looks really nice. As you can see, if I put my fingers behind the beer, it is pretty opaque. There's 1 or 2 teeny bits of sediment floating around and quite a few little bubbles going up towards the bottom of the head. So overall, It looks like a pretty nice beer actually. So let's have a proper look at the aroma on this one then. Yeah, so without sugaring it up, you get a bit of chocolate. You do get a lot of that Belgian chocolate coming out, but there's a little bit of kind of spicy, bready character underneath that. It's almost like a cereally, not quite rye bread, but there's a definite kind of slightly spicy, bready character going on in this one. You can smell some of the earthy hop as well, the Kent Goldings hops coming out. But there's a lot of chocolate in there. There's maybe a little bit, just a little bit of caramel, but it's a bit of a woody, nutty character, and that's mixing with this almost spiciness that you're getting out of this beer. That's quite interesting. It actually does smell a little bit like a Belgian beer. Not quite as prominent in that, but you're getting, once you sugar it up a bit more, you start to get more of the English character out of it. If you just let it settle, you maybe could get away and think that it's a bit of a Belgian beer, but really those earthy characters and the kind of spiciness from the bready flavours come out on this when you sugar it up a little bit more. It smells nice actually. It's quite an unusual aroma. I've never quite come across this blend before. But like I say, there's a bready malt base in there, there's a little bit of some sort of spicy character to it. On top of that there's some toasted caramel, a little bit of chocolate, some nutty, maybe woody notes as well. The earthy hop, you know, the Kent Goldings is definitely notable in there, but I'm not getting that fruit that I got initially when I opened it up. Actually, I'm not getting that slightly reddish fruit character that I was getting out of this. It definitely becomes more chocolatey, earthy, and a little bit caramelly as well, a bit toasted as your nose adjusts to it. And like I say, when you sugar it up, those earthy characters become a little bit more prominent in the aroma. So yeah, let's give this guy a taste and see how we get on. So this is the Bunyip 4.6% English style brown ale from Chad Beer in Svedala near Malmö here in Skåne, Sweden. Skål! Yeah, that's quite nice actually. This one, first off with this beer, you know, this isn't going to be something that absolutely blasts, you know, it's not going to blow your mind with the flavour. This one is more one of these beers that is more well blended and has a lot more subtle character to it, I would say. But it's a good beer, there's no doubt about that. But the first thing you'll notice about this beer, this is one where you're focusing more on a blend of flavours than having like really punchy hops or really sweet malts and things like that. This one has a little bit of both and it blends together quite well. The earthy hop in this one for me, once your mouth adjusts to this beer, you start to get more and more of that earthy hop. And normally I'm not a big fan of English hops. I'm not a great fan of that, the earthy character and the slight grassiness that they have normally. But they've used them quite well in this beer. So as I always say with these darker beers, sugar them around your palate a little bit and just let the whole mouth adjust. But this is a good beer. And it's quite interesting, it's not like any other brown ale that I've tried before. You can taste that the malty character in this, especially the chocolate flavours, are a little bit different. So in the middle of your palate where you expect the malt to come out, you're getting that bready malt base that you would expect. There's a good little bit of cereally character to it, you know. It does have a little bit of spiciness, and on top of that you're getting that grainy, that almost kind of grainy, cereally dryness, and just a little tiny bit of bitterness from that on top of the palate there. There's maybe some kind of cocoa or something in there. There's a little bit of that almost black malt dryness there, but it's not too prominent. The dry part of the malt base is more kind of cereally, grainy and bready. On top of that you're getting the sweeter elements of the chocolate. There maybe is just a teeny bit of caramel, but for me that's very subtle. It's more caramel in the aroma than comes out in the palate. It's more chocolate forward, this one. As I say, Belgian chocolate malts in this beer, so you would expect that. Yeah, bready and chocolatey is definitely the way to describe this one. As I say, that kind of grainy, bready character in the middle there. And the sweet chocolate flavours on top, that's nice. This is a nice well blended beer, there's no question about that. If you move out to the sides of the palate, you're getting some of these earthy hops, and as you come further forward you feel that earthiness. It's quite dry at the back of the palate, but it smooths out as you come forward, and then as you go around the front curve of the palate you get just a little bit of a more grassy character there. You can feel that around the front of your tongue, the earthiness, the dark, kind of almost musky earthiness in the beer just disappears as you come around the front curve of the tongue there. But yeah, that's nice. There is a teeny little bit of a slightly red fruity ester behind the front curve of the tongue there. You always get that little oily bubble where those fruity esters come out, and you can pick up just a tiny little bit of an almost raisiny or sort of candied fruit characters. I always say these little heart sweets that you get in the Haribo Star Mix, you can get just a little bit of that, but that's not a big component of the flavour. That's quite subtle actually, but as I say, with the hop side of things, it's earthy in the back corner of the palate and more grassy around the front curve of the tongue there, and you've got that nice malt base there just backing up. There's a bit of a woody kind of nutty flavour that starts to come out as you drink more and more of this beer, and it's nicely done. As I say, the flavours in this one blend together really well, and the chocolatey character that you get now, and also the breadiness in the base actually, for me, are actually quite unique. This is a beer that you should have a go of if you can get a hold of it. I think it's available all throughout Sweden, so order it into your local Systembolaget and give it a go. This one, like I say, it's not something that's going to absolutely blow your mind with the flavour. It's not really in your face. This is a nice, well blended beer, and in terms of an English brown ale, it's done quite well actually. I'm not really a great fan of the English beers other than the milds and things like that. I like the milds, and I like some of the golden ales as well, but normally the brown ales, I guess some of them can be quite good as well, but normally I'm not such a great fan of the English styles of beers, but they've done this, but Chad Beer have done this one quite nicely, I have to say. I mean, that's it with English beers. I'm not a great fan of English pale ales. I like the stouts, I like the milds, some of the brown ales can be quite good as well. But for me, this one really hits the spot, and I mean, with the English hops in it, you get some of that traditional character with the earthy hop and the bit of a grassiness in there. But I mean, overall, it's a nice beer, and the flavours blend together really well, I think, and it's got that little bit of unique character with these Belgian chocolate malts. So check it out for yourself. As I say, available all throughout Sweden. In terms of the mouthfeel, mid-body definitely. There's a little bit of oily character to this one. That suits the malt base on it. The carbonation has just a little bit of a prickle. Mainly it's a sweet malt base on this one, but it does have a bit of a darker, bitter character in there. The cereally bread and some of the, just a little bit of a kind of cocoa or slightly black malt character coming out in this one. Probably not quite black malt, more cocoa I would say. And you've got a little bit of dryness from the hops, but the beer does get a little bit wetter around the front of the palate. But like I say, overall, this is really quite a nice beer. The flavours blend together really well, and it's got that little bit of unique character from these Belgian chocolate malts. So if you get the chance to try it, I recommend you would. If you like your English brown ales, I can see you enjoying this one. Probably if you like the kind of bready malt base of some of these Belgian beers too, this is one that you're going to enjoy. But for me, it's a good beer. I'd love to try it on tap actually, because I think on tap, with that slightly smoother mouthfeel that you get from tap beers, this one would really benefit from that. But overall, it's a pretty damn solid beer. It's nice, and I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink it again. So yeah, make sure you go and try this one. The Bunyip Brown Ale from Chad Beer, one of the new breweries near Malmö in southern Sweden, in Skåne. So yeah, cool to see another Skåne brewery popping up onto the radar, so I'll need to try some more of their beers. But I hope you've enjoyed this beer review. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Go and check out Chad Beer if you come across them. Their other beers are supposed to be quite good as well, so I will need to check those out in the near future. But thank you once again for watching. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Go and check out my social media, and make sure you try some Chad beers from here in Skåne in Sweden. Until the next time, it's Slange just now, and I'll catch you soon with more Swedish beer reviews. Skål!